Good noon. Thank you for joining us back on the brown shag carpet in the old chair and the less old chair. Chairs.
These chairs are still 15 years old.
Yeah, but they're not like...
I didn't think they'd last that long. They were IKEA. Or they are IKEA.
I've never been to IKEA. I haven't. I heard about their meatballs. They sound like
fantastic.
Okay,
meatballs.
sorry, it's another one. Comment your favorite thing from IKEA. Because Drew needs to go.
The streusel. I don't know, I made that up. That's probably not
Cheap
very...
food is
Our
among the great
Icelandic
things.
viewers are probably not very happy with me.
Probably not.
That's right.
All negative 5 of them.
Yeah.
So, there are some things that I am really, really good at.
Mm-hmm.
One of those things happens to be guitar, and also being very humble. And Corey has been trying to be a guitar player ever since -6 years before, me.
Longer than that.
He said like he's been playing guitar for 30 years when I've been playing it for 4.
I've just been playing the same 2.5 chords for 30 years.
And I
Once a
helped
year.
you.
Once a year.
I helped you.
You did help me.
And
Did.
I bet it took a lot for you to look at me and go, "Can you help me with this?" Because I'm half your age.
You are almost exactly half my age.
I will actually say, Corey does not struggle with that at all. He is really good at asking for help.
I'm not.
I am horrible.
I'm very bad at that. You can ask Becky. I am horrible at
Yeah.
asking for help.
Yeah.
Well, and let's be clear, the instance that you have chosen, guitar, is not an instance in which I have any confidence whatsoever in my ability to do it. So there have been a number of you guys throughout the years who were all incredible, though I will say you were one of the kindest about taking time to teach me the little bit that I now know.
And now all of the Pepitone men in this household can play guitar.
Hey,
To some degree.
I got the ukulele going.
You do have the ukulele going. I'm messing
Baritone?
with this chord.
It's a baritone uke, right?
It is a
Yeah, it's a
baritone
baritone uke. Anyway, so why are we here today?
So this week we want to talk about how to actually be able to say to someone in your family in a way that they will be able to accept with dignity.
Thanks for helping me with that segue, by the way.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Yeah, it's
that.
great. I knew I wanted to help you.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. How do you say, I want to help? How do you say I want to help in a way that doesn't rob a person of dignity, that doesn't rob them of the ability to make decisions or control, but actually be able to step in and say, let me help you with that?
Right. As a parent or a child.
Yeah.
So first, I think it's pretty cool to recognize that sometimes when somebody wants to help you, it's because that's their love language, and they're receiving from that. And if you're not familiar with the love languages, we'll put that link in there from the Chapmans. But it's I think this speaks to both acts of service, which is mine, and quality time, which is not his, but it is at one point all 4 of our children's. But it's because they want to be with you. Or because they want to serve you. They want to show you love by serving. And sometimes if we are asking them for help, it's the same thing. It's because we want to spend the time with them, that quality time together, or because you want to help that person. And so that's pretty cool to recognize there may be an underlying something that they're wanting to help because they need to spend time with you.
So I think the other way that we can both ask to be able to help and then welcome help as parents is to keep in mind what our actual goals are.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a couple of weeks ago on Sundays about imagining the end, that concept of picturing who our kids are going to grow up to be and keeping that in mind as the goal, and that being able to sort of lead us through the darker, more complicated days to have an end goal, but realizing who we're actually trying to grow our kids to be can
The
actually...
characteristics, the godly
Yeah.
traits that we want to see in them. That's a I think Orange, Reggie Joyner, Carrie Newhoff
Yeah,
kind of
concept. And the idea there that this is not necessarily about, I don't want my children to be adults who cook broccoli right? I want
Well, I do, but
Lori's more passionate.
but I don't
about
care
that.
if they're a doctor who does it or whatever.
We want them to be godly adults.
Right.
And those things will be more important. And you know what? The fact of the matter is, if it means that I get to spend time with my teenage daughter, we can overcook the broccoli one night and things will be fine, right? Or teenagers, if you're watching this, like, it's fine to actually step in and allow your parents to help with something and you're like, I will never be able to show my face on social media again. If that seems, you know what, the fact of the matter is, let's all be clear. Nobody scrolls back through that stuff. And if you scroll back more than a week on Instagram and like something, it's a mortal sin. So it's all gonna go away, right?
That's how you get in trouble on Instagram.
I'm
I
telling you,
thought
that's
if
where
it
the
went on the
police come in.
internet, it was there forever.
it is,
It
but
is.
if you like it
Oh,
more than a week
which-
old, you may never show your
Don't
face.
ever like a
public.
picture
I was gonna
from
say, which
somebody
parenting
for
tool
more
are
than
we
a year.
using here?
Yeah, that's it,
That's
right?
You're in trouble.
So surrendering the results, if there's a higher end at stake, man, that is a difficult thing.
Letting your child pick out their clothes and dress themselves, even though it may be backwards and or not match, or all the above.
I saw a young man at the coffee shop today who was dressed in spaceman pajamas and bright red cowboy boots.
You
And I'm
promise
actually
not
not.
to tell anybody.
His parents will know who he was. It wasn't you. That was last week. For you.
Oh, right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That wasn't this morning.
And the last thing on like talking about how do you ask to help is realizing that when you ask someone to help, whether it's as a volunteer, whether it's in a family, whether it's as a parent, as a teenager, as a child, asking to help is not the same thing as asking another person to surrender control. And so many times when we go to our kids and say, let me help you with that, what we actually want them to do is surrender control
Give it to me.
and do it our way, and nobody feels good about that. 3-year-olds don't feel good about that. 13-year-olds don't feel good about that. 18-year-olds don't feel good about that. And they can see that stuff happening. So that when we ask to help, you actually have to ask to help with a helpful heart and not a controlling heart. And there's a big difference.
There is, and that's really, really hard because you want an outcome, and it may even be a scenario where you need a good outcome. But what matters more, the relationship or the outcome?
And realizing that as parents, as we surrender control to some of those things, we are going to bring about more chaos and more mismatched outfits and perhaps even way more desserts at supper than we had intended. But at the end of it, if we end up with healthier families, with more godly kids living more trusting lives, then we will be further along.
I really need to get the kids helping in the kitchen again. They
Yeah.
keep asking, and I quit doing it because it takes longer.
Well, and also,
But-
if they help cook the supper, then we have to do the dishes.
That's
and I don't want to do the dishes.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's a rule in our house too. You make dinner, you don't have to do dishes.
Right, so I want to cook.
Mm-hmm. Me too, because it's a lot easier to make a
I
mess
know.
than it is.
They've
to
seen
clean it
that,
up.
and they're gonna know what I'm doing.
Or you could clean as you go, but whatever. I'm not controlling
And
the
nobody
results.
ever once comes up to you and says, "I want to help you clean," or at least not in my
There are a
experience.
few personalities that are very much
Yeah,
that
Ella
way,
might
but
be that one.
We have one of them. Yeah. it's
Yeah.
good.
we'll
Yes,
see.
well, you have one.
Anyway,
On that note, thanks for
you.
your time today. We hope we've been of service and of use, and thank you for letting us, because we want to help you.
Yeah. And we'll see you next week on the brown shed carpet in the brown chairs.
Isn't somebody supposed to ask them where their kids are?
Yeah, where are your kids? I've only
on their
seen-
way home, I got a text.
Oh,
I
good.
got a text.
I have a fish. Okay, what bothers me more
Peace.
is the fact, like, broccoli or burnt broccoli, or that you said